Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first MOMCast. I'm here today with Trey Juran, John Brule, Benjamin Helget, and special guest Justin Boone. So today we're going to be talking about some incredible stuff here on our first podcast, and hopefully you like it. So how are you guys doing? Trey?
Oh, good. Today was a good day.
Today was a good day?
Yeah, we're doing all right.
I've never been better. Just want to put that out there.
Pretty stoked.
Yeah.
All right. John, what do you want to discuss for this podcast? Any ideas? Because I got a couple of topics. Oh, I got some agendas. Okay, guys, here I got a question. Okay, so we're almost halfway through the semester here. Do you guys think grades actually matter?
Yeah. What kind of question is that?
Well, I mean, like when you go and you get your degree, okay, and then you have your degree. I don't think that a company is going to look at your grades and determine exactly if you should get the job. To me, I think that in college you need to be able to have that balance of sort of free time. From other people I've heard, one of the things that's really big when you come to a job interview is that you were involved with other things in college. Does that make sense? Because if like you're just doing homework, then you might get good grades.
Yeah, but I'm not also pretty sure that employers wouldn't be super thrilled if they hear that your college slogan was "C's get degrees."
Well, I guess my thought is like, I mean, any monkey can get a bachelor's degree. So
whoa. Okay.
Hold on here. So if you're going to this job,
calling us monkeys?
I am. So if you're going to this job, right? Like, sure, they might not know, but are you gonna really want to be like producing C work? Because they're gonna find out pretty quick, right? So like, I think in the long run, it does matter because like. I don't like that company's gonna figure it out, and like you're not gonna have a very long career working. I don't know. Doing C work.
I mean, ultimately, I think it really does matter, just because even if it doesn't matter necessarily on paper, I mean, it definitely does if you want to get into grad school or something beyond that. And some companies will look at your grades, but it does matter because like the way you work in college really sets the tone for the rest of your life. I mean, it's better to start learning and like growing now, to become a better person now. Then later on, once you actually hit the workforce and people are chewing your butt because you're being lazy and just getting by.
Choo-choo.
I don't know. I think that some people just overthink schoolwork a little bit. Like, don't you agree that some people just kind of overdo it maybe a little bit? But,
I mean, I'd say yeah. I mean, if it's to the point to where like you're doing nothing else other than homework, then yes.
Yeah, like if it's stressing you out
to
an unreasonable amount.
To me, I think it's just careful because, like, I mean, what is the rule? It's 2 hours of homework for every
hour.
For every hour of classwork. I mean, 3 hours and then you have 6 classes. That's a lot of hours. I don't know, Matt.
It's a lot of damage.
Well, that's what the government has. Like, we have to follow that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were actually following that and doing all your readings and stuff, I just feel like you'd have no free time. I mean, I can't make it work. But
now, free time isn't virtuous.
Oh god.
You need leisure though. You need leisure.
Tristan asked me to not have deep conversations on this podcast.
Yeah, no deep conversations.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna actually talk about it, but just FYI, you need leisure in your life, not free time.
Well, okay, yes, that's good.
Next time.
Okay. All right. So guys, we broke the ice a little bit. Here's a good theoretical. Okay. University of Mary's under attack. It is World War III. What in the world are we going to do? What's the game plan? Where's the safest place to hide on campus?
Okay, first of all, what is the year? Because it depends. Is it like year 2100 or?
Let's say it's next year.
It's next year.
It's next year. It's our junior year.
Well, first of all, we're doomed because if North Dakota was its own country, it would be the third most powerful as far as nuclear weapons goes. So we would be bombed the heck out of.
We'd be obliterated.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just talking about game plan here at UMary, okay? Where are we going to hide?
Literally.
Well, we're leaving the state.
John, we can't leave the state. Everything's boarded up. The National Guard came to protect us here. Yeah, so the National Guard, let's say the National Guard is armed us with weapons. Trey, what's your weapon of choice?
My weapon of choice?
Yeah.
To defend what? Against rockets? What? How
okay,
am I gonna defend myself against rockets?
Let's assume.
I'd probably pick a lightsaber.
Dude, I would love a lightsaber.
If it's our weapon of choice, or a wand, like
a wand. We wizards.
What are you gonna do? What do we assume is?
I know what my weapon is.
What's your weapon of choice?
Justice.
Justice.
Okay,
the philosopher.
I would use justice.
Okay.
I'm the philosopher.
I would use
teacher.
justice to end and to. I mean, like, it's like, it's virtue, man.
Yeah.
Benjamin the philosopher king over here.
That's Brule.
Brule's the philosopher king.
The lumberjack. He's wearing a red flannel and has a beard, so
Okay,
lumberjack.
World War III.
But in all seriousness, yes, if we're being invaded, what's our stakeout? Question, I think, comes down to north or be west.
North or the west? I think
where
Boniface West.
where do you hold up?
I think Boniface West would be the best because it's like a way bigger building, and also it's like in the ground. So if it gets bombed, I feel like I'd be safer against the impenetrable walls of who's the dude who designed the schools here now?
Breuer.
Breuer built some World War III proof dormitories, that's for sure. Or residence halls.
Planning ahead.
Yeah,
was
sometimes I feel
planning
like
ahead.
Benedict is
He was
just a
planning.
flipping like labyrinth.
Yeah, Benedict is like a labyrinth sometimes, I swear.
Yeah,
Me
Breuer
too,
never got out.
Yeah.
Stealing the
Does anybody think, how do I get
He's just
this?
wandering around.
Would you guys stake out anywhere else other than in Benedict?
Crow's Nest.
Yeah, they got all the.
You gotta get food. You gotta have a supply.
Unlimited ice cream, baby.
Well, I mean, it is 24/7 dining.
Amar will still
Dude.
be there making us burgers.
Amar will be out there making burgers. They're gonna stake it out during the.
He's like the captain of the ship. He's like, I can't go down.
Gotta save the king.
The process must go down with its university. You have what is it? Who are we tense with right now? Is Iran or Iraq? We have Iranians.
It's Iran.
For everybody.
The Iranians are coming to attack you, Marion. We're all staking out in the crow's nest on a last ditch effort $10
No,
food.
Mars is flipping burgers.
Amar's flipping burgers. I love it. Okay. Dude, what if World War III like the?
How about we get on a less violent subject?
Okay.
Wait.
I like
I
this.
heard about a certain like idea you guys thought of this morning, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Why don't you
Oh.
guys tell us a little bit about that?
No, I think. No, we can't talk about that. We
Yeah.
can't talk
Oh,
about-
is it the-
Well,
Cut it.
It might get touched. Okay, so Benjamin and I.
We can talk about it, but it's
Yeah, we
gonna have
can
to be
talk
cut
about-
out.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll have to be. cut
No.
out, but-
Well, it's not serious. We were just joking about it. It's out of respect
Disclaimer.
for all the university members.
Just go
So
for it.
Benjamin and I were walking to breakfast this morning at 7 a.m. as we usually do, and we hear like this big old plane take off going over the university, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, it sounds like fighter jets coming over with like an airstrike." That's where this topic came from.
Just thought I'd
Just
add some
a
sound
quick-
effects in.
And Benjamin says, he's like, imagine like bombs are coming down. It's World War III, and a big old like turret shooter pops out of the top of Welder, and Louwayne armed at the barrel, firing down these big old fighter jets coming across the sky, and defending our university from the possible. Our head music guy Phil is over. He's dying right now.
That's not happening.
But this might get cut from the bit. We'll have to see. But we were talking about
It definitely will.
guns ablazing, fighter jets falling down everywhere, and defending the university. So that was one of the topics we were talking about. Yeah, World War III. But World War III, it's concluded. We saved ourselves. We hit out in Benedict, and we survived. But Justin still has some social problems.
Yeah,
with the
I
rest
need
of them.
help. I'm in a predicament. So, you guys ever have, this may just be me, but where you're walking, to class, right? Like picture you're on the back trail, like where you can see the beautiful View Mary view. And there's someone who you know, but like not that well, and they're like very far away, and they clearly see you and you clearly see them. Do you like stare them down for the next minute that you're both just walking at each other, or do you like pretend to look at the view or your phone, and then as soon as they get within distance, you're like, oh hi, didn't notice you, and then like where, like that's one thing, is like where's the line, and then what if they just say sup to you, because sup means what's up, so it's like, are they just greeting me as hi, or is it like, are they asking me like what's up? So like you don't know how to respond. So like what would you do if you're walking and so you're walking to school and someone's walking and they're just like, so is the correct way to say like, is the correct way to just be like, oh, not much, how about you? Or is it to say, hey, and then their name, and then ignore the question of sup? Or do you just say sup back? Or do you say, like, good, how are you?
Fourth option, the
Good.
sky.
The sky.
You
Just look up.
Nope.
Completely ignore them.
No, I think that's
What if you have like a really bad neck beard?
What does that have to do?
Well, like your face is up and they're just like staring directly
Well, if you're
at
really
your neck.
self-conscious about it, you should probably just shave.
John should shave his
First you'd
beard.
have to
That's
grow
fine. Okay.
grow
No,
facial hair,
I
Tristan.
like John's beard.
I hate this because you know it's really weird when you see people far away and then you have to come up to them. You don't know what to say. But also why do people ask like what's up when the thing is like all you're expecting them to say is good? Like what if I just spilled my life story out there right on the spot to you?
You should.
Yeah, no, it's actually something that's really interesting because I think Dr. Franco actually talked about that.
Okay.
She was a teacher when we were in Italy, and she talked about like her time in the United States. And she said like when Italians ask you like how's it going or what's up, like they actually expect to like be heard or whatever and like talk about that. And then when she first came, it was like a weird adjustment for people to be like, hey, what's up? And then they're just saying it like as a greeting. And she was like, oh, I want to, like, wanting to actually tell them, like, oh, like, this is how things going. But then she realized, oh, yeah, that's not really how we
When
do
people
it.
really don't care about hearing what's going on in your day.
No, they're just
Yeah.
like, what's up? It's
Sometimes.
just become like a colloquial term, another term for hey or
It's-
hi.
yeah.
Just a
It's-
greeting.
It's really weird how that
So I don't like that. I wish the greetings would just stick with like hi or hey blank, or fill in the name. But I don't like the sup. Do you guys like sup?
It's so simple.
I guess I don't like it, but I have to admit I'm guilty.
You're guilty of a sup every once in a while?
I'll give people the sub.
Really?
I think so.
Give people the soap.
I do. And now like now that we're talking about it, I kind of feel guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad. Like for all those fellow Marauders out there that I've supped. I'm sorry.
Because internally they're struggling to calculate what do I respond with? Do
Yeah.
I respond with hey? Like that's the thing is like you're walking and like let's say you're the one who initiates the greeting. Like let's say you're talking to a Tony and you're like, hey Tony, and they're like, sup? Do you respond or is that eloquent enough of interaction where you just ignore it and just like that? Is that their greeting and then you just go on, or do you continue talking? Because there's a certain point where it gets awkward when they're walking because then you pass each other and it's like, do you just start looking back and talk to each other as you walk opposite directions? Like you have to finish the conversation before you intersect. I mean, maybe that's just me, but like.
I feel like there's some things that are just meant to be awkward. And they just,
And
they
there's
just,
one of them.
No, they're just meant to like strengthen your moral character. Just like, this is awkward, I'm gonna embrace it.
That's a good point,
Which is the
John.
sup. The sup is.
The thing that really made me angry was back in high school. Did you guys ever hear "saw dude"?
Oh gosh.
Did you guys ever hear that?
Saw?
Yeah, people were like "saw dude," and it was like the new version of "sup." It irritated me so much.
So would you respond with,
You say the same
oh,
thing
it just
back.
made me
oh,
angry.
you say saw.
When people are like, saw it, and then
Saw.
they're like, oh, saw it. It's like the same back.
Back and forth.
Yeah, I was like that.
You guys have never heard that before?
No, I used to
That
say
was-
Saudi all the time.
I think
God damn it,
I
Benjamin.
prefer that actually.
Yeah, I mean,
It's so far away from the
So-
original
Yeah, it's
what's
so
up
far
that
away.
it's like, okay, like,
Like,
It's
whatever.
its own thing.
yeah, it doesn't even have meaning
It's
at
its
that
own
point.
I mean, it's like ain't because it's like a bad, what's the term? Contraction
Of aren't.
of like are not or whatever. But it's so far away. It's just become
What
its,
is this English
because
class?
it's become its own word. So it's like it's not proper grammar except it is because it's entered the
Wait, wait.
colloquial
So
vocabulary.
you're saying like
But so it's
you're saying saw is the equivalent to ain't?
in a certain sense, but I mean, not if you put.
not when you say it like that.
I mean, ain't is like I could see like professors using the word like ain't like he ain't got like I don't know.
It ain't good.
Okay,
Ain't
okay, but
yeah, like
saw-
that ain't good.
should be
that
a
ain't
word.
good. But I will
But-
tell you, there are not professors that are saying saw.
Okay, yeah, but that's
Not happening.
but that's more slang, and that hasn't been around as long. I mean, there was a while where I'm sure ain't was something that only like a minority of people used. Okay, yeah. I don't think that it's ever going to get to the point where professors are saying "suh," but.
Oh, you can die on that
so,
hill,
but-
John. What's up next, Tristan?
Okay. A quick little interjection. We're all drinking Ice Mountain 100% natural spring water. We're trying to look for a sponsorship. So if you have contacts with Ice Mountain 100% natural spring water, we'd like you to please get us that contact so we can make some more money and actually make this thing a bit better.
You know, I don't think that's actually legal. I think you actually have to like ask.
It's actually Nestle.
No, yeah, but like you have to actually like ask you have to actually ask a sponsor to like even mention them beforehand, because like there's some things where like in movies where like somebody like a company can sponsor you.
We do not
but
endorse.
for some things like
Yet.
you have to actually you have to actually like ask permission for the product to be used in some sort of media.
All right. Now that we have our lawyer who just fed us his great information.
Thank you, John.
Here's actually a little bit more of a deep question. Benjamin, I think you'll like this one. Is it wrong to steal food for your family if you have no money and you have no food?
Well, my mind goes to Cinderella Man, the movie. I'm sure many of
I've
you
never
guys have
seen
seen
that
it.
before, actually.
I've never seen it.
You should watch it. It's a good film,
Got Russell Crowe.
contrary to much of what you watch. Anyhow,
Yikes!
it's a good film, and it's actually a good Catholic film. If for those of you out there that are Catholic, and it's recommended by a lot of Catholic studies courses here at UMary. There's lots of papers that have been written on it. And in the film, Russell Crowe, who plays James Braddock, is a boxer during the Great Depression, and during that time, his family's really poor. They live in like the basement of this apartment. It's really, really like I mean, just like impoverished, right? And he comes home one day and finds out that his son stole a salami from the butcher. And now this is again like stole it because like their family didn't have any food. And he comes home and he does not take that well, and he drags his son back to the butcher with the salami, makes his son return the salami, and then they go back. And he says, I mean, I can't quote it, right? But he, is teaching his son that, like, stealing's never okay. Like, we don't do that. Like, not in our family. Like, not ever. So, that's tough to say, right? To say, like, oh.
I mean, what if you're on the brink of death? I mean.
This feels like the cannibalism talk we had.
Yeah, so, like.
Yeah, that's right. We had maybe we could talk about that.
I don't feel like people.
Let's
want to
continue. Let's continue. over
Yeah,
here.
I mean, so I guess I don't have like a definitive answer because all of that, like any determination like that, is kind of like the cannibalism, right? Like it's all going to depend on the situation you're in. Like, what are the circumstances? What mindset are you in? Like, what is like what are you actually stealing? Like, are you like do you have food but like you would like to have a salami and you don't have a salami, or like you literally don't have anything to eat? Like, what's actually going on? So, I mean. I think that there could be an argument for like saying it is just, but I think it goes both ways.
Could we pull the argument that God will never give you more than you could handle, too? So like, if you're in need of food, I feel like you'd be able to try to find food if it was a dire moment of sorts. Maybe.
I believe I think the church does teach a little bit of something on this, in the sense that like the idea of social justice, like everything. I mean, there is like the idea of like ownership, but at the same time, everything is meant for a purpose. And if for some reason, like as an absolute last resort, you need to steal, then it isn't like, and it's not, you're not doing this because like, oh, you want to steal, but it's because like this is a necessity, then I think, yeah, it is moral.
What if you stole and then when you got enough money back, you return the item later?
Like a loan?
You rented it.
Yeah,
you
so
rented
like
the food.
what if like you stole the salami, okay? And then after you got a little bit of money, you come back in and you're like, listen, I stole some salami. I'm going to pay for that salami right now. Can I pay for it later? Would that be okay?
Put it on layaway?
It would be okay, but you're not obligated to
Steal it in the first place.
No, you're not obligated to act, like, depending on whether or not you wanted them to know you stole it. Like, you're actually not obligated by the church to, like, tell the person. Like, if you're going to pay someone back for something, you actually aren't obligated to, like, make your name known as in, like, hi, I stole this from you. Here's the money back.
Oh.
So, like, that could be a tough situation.
So you could like.
What if you just gave them money? You're like, I'd just like to give this as a.
Yeah, or you could just leave a salami there.
Or left an anonymous note like, hey, like.
Give him back what you took.
Yeah. And I also
Make
want to
your own
clarify too,
salami.
like, because I actually agree with John. Like, I'm not going to die on the hill of like, yeah, like you can, like, if you're literally in death, you can't steal food. Like, I would say yes, it's like the higher good there would be for you to survive, but I'm just saying like it really is situational. So like, it depends.
Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, I want to do a couple. I want to do a couple would you rather questions actually now. Okay, guys, would you Well, Trey, I want to ask you this one first because you haven't talked for a little bit. Okay, would you rather jump 5 years into the future with vague knowledge of what happened, or you have to go 10 years in the past to where you were and you retain all of your current knowledge?
I go into the future.
You go in the future? Really? You
Yep.
wouldn't want to? You wouldn't want to like
Nope.
make any changes or?
Nope.
Dang,
I
but
feel like my past has developed me into the person I am today, and I like who I am.
so you won't want to change
So
anything.
I don't want to change anything.
Would anybody want to go
That's a
back?
confident
in the
man.
past?
I'd go back.
You
I
go
mean,
back- why
yeah.
would you go back?
Okay, well,
just wait, John.
Are you saying that like I go like it's like I've been in a coma for 5 years, or like literally I've done
well, you-
stuff with my life and
You would know some vague knowledge. Like you probably would know, like some developments.
You'd wake
if
up
they're-
married with 2 kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
am I saying I'm gonna miss the 5 years of my life where I potentially could get married
What
and
if you
have
missed
kids?
your wedding?
Yeah, like because
Ooh.
to me,
So
I'd rather
nice.
go back 10 years, and if I retained what I know now, then I would theoretically be the same man I am now, but as a 9-year-old, and
Yeah.
I'd be a really smart 9-year-old. Just like,
Yeah, you
well,
see,
I mean,
I
I'd be
think,
a pretty
I
smart
think I want a
9-year-old.
little bit of clarification on the question because
Yeah.
is it like where like you jump into like yourself in like 5 years in the future and
You go
yourself
back-
in the 5 years, or it's like you like as your age, as the age as you are, you all of a sudden just go back with like just show up randomly out of nowhere, but you have all the knowledge.
No, you go back to the same spot you were 10 years before in your. Well, we're 20, so your 10-year-old body.
Oh, so
But you know more.
So
But
you
you
know
just
you
have
know
all the
way
knowledge.
more. You know stuff that's gonna happen.
imagine doing like, I'd be 9. They'd be like, so this little X means multiplication, and like for math, for instance, like
Yeah.
how easy that would be for like.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be really boring.
There's a
Yeah.
lot that'd be great.
Like, you
I
won't
think
learn
to
anything.
go back to childhood, but I think one of the other dangers is like sort of the butterfly effect in a sense. Like things could spiral out of. You could change a lot about the
I
future.
mean, I think that with that knowledge, like you would probably change, like even if you're not wanting to, you would change the path of like your life so drastically
Yeah.
that the likelihood that you could actually get to the point that like we are now is incredibly improbable.
Yeah, I mean, I think about the idea like, God, I'd probably invest in Bitcoin, but then if I'd make I have millions of dollars, okay, does that mean that I'd still meet you guys? Like, even if I did know you in the future, you wouldn't know me. We'd have to rebuild that relationship, and that relationship was built in a certain circumstance. Like me and Trey, the only reason
yeah.
we got together was because I was forced to be his roommate.
Forced.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's a cruel way to put it, but that's essentially what it was. I didn't want to. I wanted to room with Benjamin.
See, like the other thing that I find really interesting is how many like things are shaped by other like events are shaped by other people's like will and their choice. And if we truly believe that there's free will, like how is it like even if we did everything exactly the same way, like would they truly have free will if like they had to make the exact same choice all
Yeah.
the way?
No, I don't know what I would do. So Trey, you would go 5 years into the future.
For sure.
John, what would you do?
I mean, if I had to choose, I had no other choice. I mean, my inclination is always just to go to the past, but I've always been like considering like where I am as myself going to the past, and this is where I'm going back. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna stick with going to the past, but I don't really like it. If I had the option, I would stay where I am.
Yeah, but you don't have that option. Benjamin, what about you?
Justice.
Come on.
Good answer.
Darn it.
No, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't like, and you're gonna get mad at me. But I don't like living in like
Theoreticals.
the theoretical because like
I do.
I'm right here, right now, and so I'm gonna live right here, right now.
with you.
And I don't mean that in this like YOLO sense. I mean it more in like, I know I'm supposed to be someone like that. The Lord asked me like right here, right now, so I'm gonna do that.
I still want an answer.
But I would agree with what like Boone had to say. Like, yeah, I don't want to miss like
Yeah.
whatever's to come in the future. Like, just to skip that, and I don't want to wish my life away. So I guess I'd rather go back.
I just feel like there'd be a big temptation to make changes, but me personally, I'd also go in the past. I want to walk like the thin line to try to do sort of the same thing with the knowledge that I have, just because I really don't want to change the past too much.
I mean, I feel like it can also give you a certain perspective on the world because it's like, I feel like with every moment that we have here on Earth, we have to work with what we are given, and that includes all the choices of our past.
Yeah. Benjamin dropped his mic. Big old boom.
And I mean, that includes all the choices of our past. Because, I mean, we are our past selves, but at the same time, like, I mean, there are many saints, like St. Augustine, he was a bad person at some point in life, but he ended up becoming a saint. So, like, at a certain point in his life, he recognized, like, well, I have been a bad person, but I'm still going to choose to change, in a sense.
Yeah.
So there are many different circumstances in life that we are given what we have, and the only thing that we can really control is what we do with what we are given, and we have to make the most out of what we are given. And so then the question becomes, in going back, is it because we want to change something and almost like reverse things and reject what we are given now? Or, and then would it then take more courage to go into the future and say, you know what, I'm just going to accept with not knowing what's going on and just accept what the heck is given to me then.
Yeah. Mr. Boone, what would you do? You'd go in the past?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'd all go in the past,
Except for Trey.
except Trey. Trey would go in the future.
I mean,
In 5
I'm
years.
beginning to consider whether going to the future would actually be the more virtuous choice.
That's a lot of time expired.
It's a lot of virtue.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of virtue
That is a lot of
inspired.
virtue. Dang. Okay, guys. You have to eat all your food this way for the rest of your life. Would you meat? Would you rather eat everything raw or suck up the ashes?
Everything raw.
Are you sure?
Yes, without
Well,
a
what
doubt.
if
You
we're
wouldn't
assuming
get
you
any
can get the same
nutritional-
nutrition? We're assuming you can get nutrition from the ashes and nutrition from the raw meat.
Are we assuming that ash still causes cancer?
Yeah,
Because
that's-
I would go with the raw meat.
We're assuming that ash has
Raw
the
meat
same
causes cancer.
nutrients.
To like E.
That
coli
depends.
or like black lung.
Okay. No. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if depending on how fresh the raw meat is, it needs to be
I'm
fresh,
telling you,
fresh.
Goddarn head was just chopped off.
Okay, yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah, raw.
Yeah, I'd eat
Let's
it.
go raw.
Let me
because, I mean,
add it.
that's, for a
That's a
while, that's how
no-brainer.
our
Good.
ancestors way back, that's how they ate everything. So I mean, that'd be fine.
So no sucking up the ashes.
That's just
At least
I
there's some
don't-
taste to it. Ashes would be tasteless. At least
wouldn't-
if it's
Are
raw. I
you
mean,
sure?
blood's kind of salty.
Here's the
and,
question.
I mean, you could mix the ashes with what? You could have ash smoothies or
Just a-
ash sandwiches.
Question.
Or
Question.
That would
By
not-
raw meat, do you mean just something that has never been cooked?
I mean, what else would it be?
I mean, you could eat
What's
shrimp. You could eat shrimp then.
Jerky.
Or, like
Jerk? No. It's got to be full of the goddamn blood and everything. I mean,
A prosciutto.
What about raw broccoli?
well, this is strictly meat.
It has to be meat.
Well, we're talking about meat because all the vegetables are raw unless you steam it.
Can I just not eat meat?
No, you
I
have
guess
to.
theoretically.
You
have
can
to
only eat meat, and
you
it
have-
either
you-
has to
well,
be.
you don't
active-
have to only eat meat, but you do have to eat meat.
Can I eat eggs?
Yeah, I guess we could say that you could eat eggs, but you still have to
to eat
eat meat.
raw.
You have, you have. Oh yeah, you have to eat raw
You have to eat
eggs.
raw
You
How
gotta
much?
rock it.
How much meat?
Or-
do you
Exactly.
eat?
How much meat? Are we talking like a little
little bit a
teaspoon?
day?
Because if I just got to eat a teaspoon of raw meat, count me in.
Tartar.
You have to eat a.
I see a bunch of
You
sushi
have
all
to
my
eat
life.
at least 16 ounces
a day.
a week. A day.
Oh,
A pound
gosh.
of meat
Okay,
a day.
16 ounces of ashes.
a week.
Oh.
16 ounces of ash or 16 ounces of raw bloody meat.
I feel like
The meat. I mean, you're not helping. your
my
case with the
internal
ashes.
organs
We're
would just
assuming that it has the same
cement
nutrients.
with all
though.
that
Alright, back to
Yeah, but
the eggs.
16
I
ounces
would
of
do
ash.
I would do the ash because then I could just mix it in with water. I could drink it like a goddamn smoothie.
Yeah, it's not a smoothie though.
It's not sweet. Yeah.
Because I don't want to eat no raw meat.
Yeah, because
I'm
ash
gonna get
smoothies are
whatever-
Your body was
whatever the
actually
heck you
made
call
to
it.
be able to eat stuff like that, not
dude.
ash, dude. Totally weird.
Totally weird.
he says.
totally weird.
On a side note, I was talking about eggs. Do you know that the 100 folds in a chef's hat represent the 100 different ways you can cook an egg?
You can cook an egg 100 different ways.
That's
There's
Pretty
100
sure
different
you can
folds
cook it
in a
more
chef's
than
hat.
100 ways.
What?
Whoa.
I didn't know you could cook an egg that long.
That's because you're not very creative.
Oh, jeez.
I'm
Okay.
just kidding.
Okay. One final question, and then we'll start to wrap up here. Guys, you can have a pet horse, and you show it to all your friends, or you have a super awesome flying unicorn, but you can never talk to anyone about
This is a
it.
dumb question.
I know it's a dumb question, but I still want to know.
I wouldn't want a unicorn. I want a Pegasus.
You don't have that option, John.
I want
John-
a griffin.
You could tape some fake wings on it, and it's
Hey,
basically.
this is like a choosing game. I'm being choosy.
You have two options.
Okay, my thing is
John's always choosy.
if I have the
He likes the
unicorn, like,
finer
do I
things.
have to take the time? What do you guys think? Would we have to take the time to hide the unicorn? Or does the unicorn just like
No.
disappear?
Unicorn disappears.
Unicorn
mean,
disappears.
Yeah,
I mean-
well, it would be like they can't see it.
The
You're
unicorn-
only
It's like
one who can see
invisible.
The thing is, like, where would
The
I store
unicorn
my
is the national animal of Scotland.
No,
and
it's
being
not.
that Shrek is voiced by someone who's Scottish, I'd pick unicorn.
it. I agree.
Exactly.
Are we all unicorn?
For sure.
Except John, he's a Pegasus. I want Pegasus. What even is a Pegasus? Does it have a horn, or is it just
No,
like
it's a horse with wings.
This is a flying unicorn. So.
I got a fact check on unicorns and wings.
Huh?
If you want it.
Yes. we
Phil's
do.
got a fact check on unicorns with wings. Give us a fact check there, Phil.
So, according to Google, the first result, because I don't want to do too much research into this, myth and legends, winged unicorns have often been depicted in art. As a mythical horse, it is commonly depicted as having a white coat and wings. So, a unicorn
You get the
does
horn.
indeed
You want no, you
have
want no
wings.
horn.
Whoa.
You want a hornless unicorn.
No, I take the horn, but I put like armor over the horn.
Why does it need armor?
Why does it need the horn?
It's like a charge.
Are you gonna charge into battle when World War III occurs?
Oh
You're
yeah,
gonna-
that's
You're
100%
gonna charge
what I'm
into
doing.
battle on your unicorn with.
It's a
with
war
the
unicorn.
No one knows you have it though, so.
That'd be
Alright.
great. Surprise attack.
No, but they wouldn't even know you have it while you're attacking them. Would you be allowed to show?
Exactly, it's invisible too.
So it would just be a flying Brule.
It's like the invisible boatmobile, but like
Ah,
a
but it's a unicorn. I like it.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. That would be really cool. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this week's MOMCast. If you made it this far, I suppose we'll just allow a quick closing statement from everybody before we wrap it up, and then bye-bye until further notice. Trey, what do you got to say?
I'm just gonna say goodbye. It was fun. It's a good time.
What am I supposed to say other than goodbye?
Okay.
Yeah, so a baby puffin is actually called a puffling.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
like it.
It's pretty cool.
What do you guys think of this ice mountain water? It's what
I
I
like
mean,
it.
we're all drinking it. It says it's.
I'm on
I just
bottle
wanted
too.
to bring this up before we end it. Like, it says it's 100% natural spring water.
I think
Do you
it
guys
is-
think it actually is 100%
is.
natural spring water?
Well, if they don't want to get if they
Refreshing.
don't want to get sued.
Oh, it's cold.
I don't know. Made better.
Well, we'll be looking for that Nestle sponsorship.
Yeah.
Until
Questioning
further
their
ado,
legitimacy.
or until whenever we have one again. Okay. Bye, guys.